What's up, everyone? 1973 podcast coming to you from the Hockey Hall of Fame, the Mecca. That's what it's all about, the Hockey Hall of Fame. Well, Connor, tell them, let's go.
Let's go!
Hello everyone, welcome back. We're in Toronto at the Hockey Hall of Fame. Do good.
On. Didn't say shoot. Come on. Sit on. Come on, Ken. Shoot it. Let's go, Rich. Oh my god, Ken. Oh my god, Ken. Ken. Hit in the neck, Ken. I see you got one. Nice shot, Ken. Let's go. Take another one. Oh.
Hello everyone, we're here at the Hockey Hall of Fame and you're watching the 1973 podcast.
I know. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, here we go. Episode number 80. Big 80. Seems like it was just yesterday we started. We're missing a few people. We brought the hammer back in. We want to talk some Patrick Liane. He's an expert in all things Ohio Valley area. So we'll get to that when we get to it. But first, I want to mention that somebody has been absent the last couple weeks. And the man down here, Cristobal Huey Silva, where have you been? Cooking with Chris, just going nationwide, going international. You're like intercontinental when you eat French toast.
So I've been signing a lot of autographs. I've been growing out my curls. Okay. If you can see these curls, it's my hockey flow for hockey season. I've been a very busy guy.
Keep the hat on, please.
Will do. Well, hey, buddy, I got more hair than most of you on this podcast. So show your face.
Damn right you do.
Listen, you're not fooling me. The curtains match the drapes. I know that.
No, honestly, summertime. It's Saturday nights. You guys been recording, family. We're doing stuff. I'm like, the podcast helped a little bit. I've been a very popular commodity lately. I'm getting invited to birthday parties. People I don't even know want me to show up at, certain events and parties they're throwing. So I've been spreading my wings and like laying it all out there for my people. So
they just want you to cook for them. That's why.
Exactly. They know if they invite me for a party, I'm not coming empty-handed. So here I am on a Friday. We're good to go, guys. Let's do this.
All right. So welcome back, Chris. And with that, we're going to talk about the segment, this week's Cooking with Chris. Thomas, you want to do our lead in so we can drop that video in?
Sure. Hold on a minute.
Oh,
All righty. Cooking with Chris is brought to you by the book Loving Elliot, a fitting tribute to undying love, written by our very own leader, Andy Clark. It's available on Amazon.com. Elliot was the oldest special needs Jack Russell Terrier when he passed away at the age of 21.
so buy a book and watch a video. We're going to drop it in right here.
Hey, what's up, guys? You are here back in Cristal's kitchen for another episode of Cooking with Chris. I got my apron on. Don't forget, guys, click the link down below on our YouTube video. Take you to our store. You can buy aprons, cups, mugs. Don't be cheap. Buy something. Help the cause. So today, we're going to do like expert level shit right here, okay? So this is not for everybody. I usually give a list of ingredients. We're not doing that today. There is way too many. So we are going to make a classic Italian recipe that I promise, if you copy this recipe and do it just as good, you will never eat chicken parmesan anywhere else ever again except at home. And here it is. First, we're going to start with just the breadcrumbs. That's the main flavor of this chicken parm meal, is the breadcrumbs. And this is what goes in the breadcrumbs, guys. All right, Japanese panko. Gotta go with the panko. And we go with plain. You can take the cheap way out and do the seasoned one. I season it myself, and that's why it's so damn good. Kosher salt, garlic powder, black pepper, a little bit of the red crushed pepper, onion powder. Now for the rest of these ingredients, I use fresh because I have my little makeshift garden here. And I got another one outside on my patio. So I always have fresh herbs throughout the whole year. We're going to go with fresh basil, fresh rosemary, fresh parsley, and fresh purple oregano. Again, if you don't have a fresh herb selection like I do, or you don't want to purchase 27 different herbs at the grocery store because it can get expensive, just use the dry stuff in the can, I guess. It's okay. It's not going to be as good, but it'll still be delicious. And last but not least, of course, fresh grated Parmesan Reggiano. I already pre-grated it. I'm going to throw it in a little container, the breadcrumbs and all these seasons and herbs, and I'm going to mix it together and show you. And here it is, guys. This is going to separate your chicken parm from any restaurant you go eat it at. Right here. This is where it's at. So we're going to do a breading station with some flour and eggs, and I'll show it to you when it's there. And here it is, the breading station, guys, okay? So I just bought regular chicken breasts, and I fillet them with a nice sharp knife to about that thickness. Some people like it thicker. Go for it. Do whatever you want. Make sure you pat them dry. These things have to be patted dry. If not, the flour, when you put that flour coating on, and then the bread coating, it's going to come right off. So pat these bad boys dry, okay? Very important step, or else you're going to have a mess of a chicken parm. So that's the flour. That's the breadcrumb mixture that I showed you before. And this is just 3 eggs. I threw in just like a little dash of water and mixed it all up. You got to season every layer. So those breadcrumbs obviously are completely seasoned. Season that flour with salt and pepper only. Same thing with the eggs. Every layer we season, guys. All right. Put it in. Quick flip. Make sure it's completely coated. A little shake. Egg. Flip. Completely coated. Shake, shake. Don't want all kind of extra egg in there. And then right down there. Cover it. You're going to want to force it in. Alright, use those fingers. This is definitely a little messy. Force it in there, okay? Flip it. Same thing to the other side. Make sure you get all those little spots. Force it into the meat. Put it to the side. Alright, that's going to go in a fryer pan right there. We're going to fill it up with extra virgin olive oil.
You could use cheap canola oil or vegetable oil, but it's not going to taste as good. Get the extra virgin olive oil in there. All right, guys, expert level shit. Time to fry. We got the water boiling for the fresh pasta. Again, we like to use fresh pasta. You want to use the box shit, go ahead. I got my dish here ready for the chicken parm. That's going to go in the oven. Cheese. Here's the oil. This oil's been sitting, getting nice and warm for us. I'm going to drop it in and watch that sizzle. Gonna fill up this pan. Bam. Let that fry up. I'm gonna show you the crispiness that's gonna come out of this. And we're going to put it right here on a nice little plate with paper to drain. All right, here we go. Fresh linguine pasta right out of the pack from the grocery store. You guys want to use the box stuff, go ahead. I prefer the fresh stuff. And now I'm going to show you, we're going to need this for later. This is going to be fresh basil from the garden. I'm going to do what's called a chiffonade. You just layer it. You see how I have it all layered here like a deck of cards? Layer it nicely, and then you're going to pinch from one end and just fold tight as possible, right? Tight as possible. There it is. And now we're going to slice, and this is going to go on top of that chicken parm. And you'll see these beautiful ribbons as I slice. That, ladies and gentlemen, is called a chiffonade in the culinary land. Okay? Don't forget it, because that is magic. Look at those ribbons. All right, we're gonna sprinkle that on top of the chicken parm. I'll show you the chicken parm when it's done. Here it comes, fresh out of the oven, boiling. This shit's hot. Look at that nice crust you got there on that cheese. Okay, so what I did basically here with the spaghetti, I took that fresh pasta. I just threw a little butter, salt, garlic in there. Okay, remember that chiffonade we did? Here it is. I'm going to sprinkle that right into that pasta, a good amount of it. And then we're going to sprinkle the rest of this basil right on top here. Okay? And we're going to give that a mix, and we're going to plate it. And my son Rylan is going to try it. Here it is plated, guys. The best chicken parm, I swear, you will ever eat. We're going to put some Parmesan Reggiano right on top. Sprinkle it nice. And I'm going to get my son in here to give it a shot. Go ahead, cut a piece of that and let us know how it is.
Deliciousness. Try this at home. See ya.
So let's get into it. Let's since Chris was on the podcast, we're not going to talk too much wrestling because we like to leave that with Bradford. Loves the wrestling. He's heavy with the wrestling, but I do want to mention couple quick things. Had wrote them down that Ricochet had signed with AEW. There's a chance he might maybe show up at the pay-per-view tomorrow. I saw this screenshot somebody had taken with a drone. So you know how it's at Wembley tomorrow. On the top of Wembley, they have that odd like awning type thing that retracts the roof. There was a screenshot that somebody had taken from a drone of Darby Allin standing on top of there, and they were saying that he was practicing a stunt for tomorrow. Now, I don't know if everybody remembers the Mick Foley fall, but sometimes with things like this, it works against you. It happened one time. Everybody went crazy after that. I don't think you can recreate it. Like I said before, until somebody gets hurt, they'll never stop that. So, thoughts on that, Thomas? Thoughts on that whole thing?
I mean, if they do something that ridiculous, they're definitely jumping the shark if they do something like that. I mean, I just saw an interview with The Undertaker talking about that spot with Mick Foley, and he was saying that he didn't want to do it. He was trying to talk Mick Foley out of doing it, and Mick Foley said he thought he needed to do it and he wanted to do it, and he lied and told the Undertaker that he's done it before. They had jumped off it before to practice, so Undertaker said he went along with it, but he just didn't feel comfortable doing it to him. So I can only imagine. I mean, hopefully it's just something like he's rappelling down and he's not going to try anything stupid. But I mean, he's tend to be more of a risk taker. I mean, he's seems like he's one of those adrenaline junkies outside of the ring. So who knows?
Yeah, well, I guess if anything happens, we'll know first thing Sunday morning, right? Like after that 16-hour pay-per-view that they like to put on. I think that's where WWE does it right now, where they keep the pay-per-views like to 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and they just give you pretty much premier matches. I know there might be 1 or 2 in there that's filler, but yeah, we'll wait and see. And the other piece of wrestling news I want to bring up was on Conan's podcast. He had mentioned something about Britt Baker, and he said that he knows stuff that he can't talk about, that she was part of, she's such a pain in the ass, and they don't do anything about it, that was one of the reasons why Cody left. I guess she had done something with Brandy Rhodes as far as like kind of like bullying her in the locker room. And that was just a piece of not the reason why he left, but just it didn't help the cause with holding on to him. So he said he can't mention anything about it, but she is a pain in the ass. We'll just say that. So I don't think she's beating Mercedes Moné at the pay-per-view. I think she's doing the job after all the problems over the last week or two that have kind of came out with MJF and all that stuff. So Thomas, thoughts on Dr. Britt?
I mean, it's a shame that if it is true, but my problem is with Conan, because if you can't talk about it, don't talk about it at all, and don't do a cheap little tease. I mean, that right there is just for clicks to me. I mean, have something to back it up with, and I mean, anybody can say that about anyone, really, if you and not have to back it up. So I'd like to see him come out with something. I mean, why can't he say anything? He's not part of it anymore. I mean, what the hell? To me, if you say something like that, back it up with something.
Yeah, if you've ever watched their podcast for guys that are way more financially gifted than we are, their production on that podcast is pretty weak. But that's just me. I think Ed's got a better setup than Conan does. Just
hey man, the couch is my shtick, man. It's my shtick. Come on.
I
thought it was a futon.
No, it's a couch.
Oh.
It's
and how much I paid for it.
So we'll wrap up the wrestling news. Not too much really to talk about with that. So let's get into the sports. Thomas, Jack Hugh, let's go. Brought to you by our friends.
Tom's Shitty Picks is brought to you by Brock Street Brewing Company, located at 244 Brock Street South in Whitby, Ontario. Everything they brew is in-house, including their hard iced teas, their beers, their vodka sodas, and their hard seltzers. So if you're in the Whitby area, go check them out like our boy AC did last week, and tell them the 1973 podcast sent you.
The guy underneath is the next guy in the queue to go up there and check it out. You will not be disappointed, Chris. Let me say, you weren't on the podcast last week, and I just want to plug Scotty's Place. Really cool. The food I was more impressed with the food. It was great. That's no lie. I'm not trying to put a little salt and pepper on it, but very good food. Chris, going up there soon?
I seen your video there. If I go there, I'm going to do 100 times better video than you did, just saying. Okay. But I'm trying to set it up. I already put it out there, and I'm not saying I'm not going to go, but we are so loaded with plans to go to the Hockey Hall of Fame. They want to do the Hockey Night in Canada Saturday night. I'm hoping to find some part of the day that I can get up there, because it is an hour away from where we're staying, and I'm gonna literally try very hard to make it up there. And no doubt about that.
Very good. Won't be disappointed. So let's talk a little hockey. Brought the hammer in. Talk some Columbus Blue Jackets. Talk about Patrick Laine. Let's one of my favorite. Oh, the professor want to weigh in? Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, I'd like to give my actual fantasy pick.
I'm sorry, Tom. I jumped the shark. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Premeditated. Get a little excited. I was trying to get going with the hockey. Sorry, it's my thing.
No respect. All right, so I'll make it quick. This week, I'm taking some low-hanging fruit, and I'm going to pick Bobby Witt Jr. He's got 6 games this week, 3 against Cleveland and 3 against Miami. They're all in KC. It's going to be hot there. The ball is going to be carrying like crazy. His last 9 games, he's been pounding the ball. He's batting .429, 8 RBIs, 11 runs and 3 home runs. And for the season, he's batting .351 with 25 home runs, 25 stolen bases, 92 RBIs and 110 runs. I think the kid is phenomenal. He's only like second or third year in the league, and he's already probably the best shortstop in the league. So I'm taking Bobby Witt Jr.
All right. So Professor, continue. Let's talk some Patrick Laine. Go ahead. Set us up.
All right. Patrick Laine was traded to the Montreal Canadiens for Jordan Harris. Oh, I'm sorry. He was traded with Jordan Harris to Montreal for a 2026 second-round pick. So what do you guys think?
Hammer?
Great deal. It's a great deal. It's a cancer in the locker room. I don't think he's not a bad guy. For everything I hear, he's actually a good guy, but just in the locker room, it's just, I think he struggles with the gelling part. He's been injured a lot. What, 7.9, almost 8 million on the cap. So to get rid of him and the cap is phenomenal. Like, it's a good trade. Jordan Harris is a I think he's going to get buried in Montreal with all the young dudes. You have a chance in Columbus to kind of play a bigger role, maybe a 3-4. Great move, and it frees up a lot of money. So the Jackets have a lot of young guys that in the next down bridge deal, so the next couple of years, they're going to need a lot of money if these guys start playing. So I think it's a good move.
Chris, Patrick Laine fan, yay, nay?
So listen, I grew up being a Boston Bruins fan, okay? I had so many years, my high school hockey coach, which also was my related teacher in my shop class at Vogue, was the biggest shitbag Montreal Canadian fan that I ever met.
I know who you're talking about.
Mr. Aruda. Mr. Aruda that was his name, but he gave me so much shit every single day back in the day when the Bruins sucked and Montreal was on top all the time. And I hated it, and it pissed me off so badly. But guess what? Rivalry is what makes it exciting, okay? I remember going to Bruins games, and they would come down in busloads from Montreal with little teddy bears hanging on nooses. And it was so – there used to be fights so bad at the Garden that they actually stopped bringing – Montreal Bruins games to Saturday nights in Boston because there was so many Montreal fans that would make the trip for Saturday night games. They eliminated Saturday night games in Boston against Montreal because of that. Okay. They didn't like the chaos that it was causing in the city. Now, for the last, 10 years, Montreal's been completely non-existent. This could potentially put Montreal back on the map. They have that, Caulfield, Suzuki. Yeah, they're going to have 2 good top lines. The trade was amazing. I believe, a second round pick, right? They got a second round pick. What's his name that they traded him for was a third round pick. So they're already making out there. You know how the hockey draft is. You can pick someone up later rounds that will surprise you. But this is going to put Montreal, I think, at least in playoff contention, which is huge for a hockey market of that sort. And I'm excited to see it. I would love to see the rivalry build back up between the Boston Bruins and the Montreal Canadiens because it's been long gone for way too long, in my opinion.
So I love Patrick Laine, but he is on his third team. That is not a sign of somebody that's, well liked. He's not a Steven Stamkos that's going to stay with a team his entire career, and then at the end you wonder why he left. But there are questions. There are personal problems. I don't know what they are, but from a guy that's had him since day one in fantasy, that guy pisses me off. He's made out of glass. The wind blows wrong, and next thing you know, he's out of the lineup. The guy is just not built tough. Ever since he left Winnipeg, he's never been the same. So yeah, the jury's out with me on this one. I still have hopes that he's going to get back to his old form, but there's a big question mark there. And I mean, they waited as long as they could, and I guess it was time to pull the trigger before the season. And they had announced that trade. Well, he was available to be traded like a day before it happened, and it was like, wow, somebody jumped on it that quick. So hopefully, maybe there'll be a resurgence. But in that media, Toronto, Montreal, if you've got issues, that doesn't bode too well for a striving season. So we'll see. It's right around the corner. Go ahead, Chris.
30 goals. That's all he needs to score. If he scores 30 goals, he's good.
That doesn't matter. If you score 30 goals and you only play in half the games, the Montreal media is going to eat you alive. And if he does like to go out and have some extra cocktails every now and again, St. Catherine Street is not a good place for you to be. Just saying.
I don't think he gets off the Xbox. You don't have to worry about it. The drinking part. But here, if he plays the whole season, he stays healthy, he scores 30 goals, he'll finish about minus 33. Should be good. You guys, Montreal appreciate it. He'll be dash 30 something, trust me.
Yeah, well, he's there is a he's no Matvey Mishkov. Just let me say that. I'll put that out there right now. Yeah. So, anyways, Tom, do you want to talk about quick with the other trade so we can get to the foosball?
Yeah, there was a couple of other trades today. The Nashville Predators traded their top goalie prospect, Yaroslav Askarov. He had been asking for a trade because he's stuck behind UC Saros. So they did what he said. They did what he asked, and they traded him and minor leaguer Nolan Burke, as well as a 2025 third-round pick to the San Jose Sharks for one of their top prospects. He was a 32nd pick in the draft in 2023, David Edstrom, and the right to the Vegas Golden Knights first-round pick this year in the draft, as well as a goalie prospect, Magnus Corona.
Well, Hammer, thoughts on that trade?
I think the San Jose Sharks just fleeced the Nashville Predators. If good goalies are so hard to find, and this guy's bananas. I mean, I don't know if you've seen, he's got a neck tattoo now. He does push-ups with a net. Like, the guy's nuts, which kind of wants your goalie. If he's half as good as he proved himself in the minors and the KHL, San Jose has a really good goaltender, and I think they just fleeced the Predators. Predators kind of did it to themselves by signing Sales for a long-term deal, but I mean, it's probably going to be a great deal for both teams. But I think shout out to Mike Greer and San Jose for bringing him in. If anything, you're going to have an exciting team to watch. I mean, you got Celebrini, you got
Will Smith, right?
Will Smith, Will Smith, and now you have a goalie. You got some defensive prospects. Good job for the Sharks. If you're going to rebuild, that's how to do it. Start from scratch.
Let me add something to the San Jose mix. I had heard a rumor that their lease is up with that building, and they are possibly moving. Thoughts on that? Let's not have another Utah incident.
I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think they leave San Jose.
Think they're going to?
It's a big enough market. I think they'll find a way to keep them there. Bettman doesn't like to move teams. But, think about it. Really, I mean, unless you're a disaster, that's Utah or Arizona. But I think they stay in San Jose.
I wish Utah would pick a jersey already.
Yeah, and a name.
And a name. And a name too. So let's close out the books on the hockey and let's get right into the football. So, Ed, you've been real quiet. You're known as the mouth of the South. Let's get this party started with some football talk.
All right. So, what do we want? Do we want to go with the email first, or just kicking everything off?
No, let's start with the football, and then we'll hit the email.
All right. Well, I mean, what does everybody think about? I'd say let's talk about the Austin Pate coach that got arrested for sex trafficking.
Chris, did you hear about that?
I have not.
Well, Ed and Tom, you got to fill everybody in.
All right. Well, Austin Peay's assistant coach resigned, and then 2 days later, you found out he resigned because he was being arrested. He knew he was going to be arrested on one count of trafficking for sexual servitude, and it was a big sting by the TBI down there. I guess it was in Tennessee, and they arrested, I think, 6 people, and then they, I guess you could say, rescued 7 people who were allegedly being trafficked, and it's not a good look for anyone in that one.
Ed, thoughts
Most
on
certainly
that?
not. I just think it's just one of those things. I mean, you as a coach, you're kind of looked at as like a fixture of the community, and to get caught in something like that, his career will never ever come back. You can't come back from that one. I mean, you can come back from all other scandals or cheating, money, all that stuff, but that I don't think you can be the Teflon Don on that one.
Keith, did you happen to hear about that scandal?
No, this is I've been living in the hockey bubble this week, so I haven't seen any reports. That's not, and like Ed said, there's no getting out of this. You don't even try. Just throw your arms up and just be like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like, how would, I don't know, these people. I don't know how they think they can get away with stuff, and absolutely absurd.
That would never happen with USA Hockey with the Corey check. Just saying.
I have to we're supposed to sit in the locker room and watch kids now because you can't. Don't get me started.
Right.
There's a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Rabbit hole.
Yeah. We had a couple of moments on the podcast over coaching things and coaching questions, and it's tough. You instill a trust, and you're supposed to be better than that, as I'll use that as a round blanket term, to do right and mold some youth. And you would think with social media, and it's tough to hide certain things about yourself, and hard drives, and Ed used to get nervous when he heard a siren with his hard drive. So I mean, he's brought that over state lines. He's good. He's brought that multiple different states. He's all set. So, and Ed doesn't even have anything to do with the college. So speaking of that, college football, Thomas, full swing with that?
Yeah, I want to just bring up something that happened within the last couple of days with the Colorado Buffaloes and Deion Sanders. Apparently, Colorado has banned a reporter from the Denver Post by the name of Sean Keeler for what they say is making personal attacks against the football program and Coach Sanders. According to the Post, Sanders has a unique clause in his contract that says he's required to speak only with mutually agreed upon media, which to me is totally ridiculous. If you're a football coach, stand in front and you answer questions. That's part of your job. But apparently this guy has called Deion in some of his reporting. He's called him a fake prophet. He's called him the Bruce Lee of bullshit, deposition Deion. And I guess it's not the first time Deion has had a reporter banned. When he was with Jackson State, he had a reporter from the Mississippi Clarion Ledger banned from covering them after the reporter published a story about a filing about an incoming recruit who had been charged with assaulting a woman, and Deion didn't like the report and had him banned. So to me, it seems like Deion's got a little thin skin going on.
Chris, you want to weigh in on the current state of prime time?
Yeah, I mean, dude, like you said, you're a coach. You take those questions. I'm sure everybody's seen the somewhat viral video. I think it was a CBS reporter started asking him a question right away, cut him off. He's like, "Oh, you're from CBS? No, nothing against you. I have respect for you. I don't want nothing to do with CBS. I'm not taking no questions from anybody from CBS." Dude, do your job. You're gonna get shit. You're gonna get flack from everywhere. He's got to deal with it better. Be a grown ass man, dude.
Ed, thoughts on primetime?
Well, I mean, I love Prime, and I love what he did at Jackson State. I mean, he brought that program into the 21st century. He did a lot for those kids, and he certainly definitely put Colorado back on the map last year. They were Tom. Correct me if I'm wrong. They got up to number 14 in the stats after the first 4 weeks. I mean, they did finish the season, 4-8. But I mean, the thing about it is that some of these guys in the media, they come after these guys, and I don't disagree with Chris's point or with Tom's point. Hey, look, you're the head coach. You got to get out there. You can't pick and choose. I understand that. But sometimes these guys in the media, they really like to twist what you say. They really like to kind of lead everybody down this rabbit hole of negativity. And the thing about it is that everywhere he's really gone, he's really tried to be positive. He really tries to lead by example. He's all about like, look, this is the uniform. This is how we wear it. You got to be on time. Like, we're going to class. We're doing all the small stuff because the small stuff matters. And it does sometimes feel like it's a little bit of a smear campaign against him, And the thing about it is just like, and the thing is I think he's doing a great job. I don't agree with, banning the reporter and having that clause in there, but hey, it's Dion and it's prime time, and he can do whatever if he can get his lawyers and Colorado's lawyers to agree with it. Hey, good for him.
Keith, thoughts on Deion Sanders?
Look, I love Dion. He just says whatever he says, and you can't deny it. But at the same time, the media drives me nuts. Some of these questions, these guys just ask questions just to irritate you and try to get you to say something, and so you get a kind of a hit piece, whatever. But it is also part of the job. If you're a head coach, you have to stand up and you have to deal with the hard questions. And sometimes these guys, I know Dion's got a huge ego, but just put it aside. Answer a question. Just don't give him much. Listen, Bill Belichick. Let's go. I mean, just be like, on to next week. Just give him. Don't give him anything. That's all. That's how you do it. So, got to deal with it. It's part of the job. But yeah, I don't disagree with what he's saying though. Some of these guys are clowns.
Thomas, do you want to add anything to the football talk this week?
I've got one more college football thing. I just popped in my head as we were talking, and I don't know if you guys have heard about it, but I want to hear what you guys think about Mike Gundy and Oklahoma State. They've decided, with all the new things with the NIL deals for these players, they've decided that the players are going to wear QR codes on their helmets, and fans and people can send in money to the school and to the players that way. And that's one of his, I guess you call it, unique ways of trying to, because they can't compete with some of these other big schools that are giving these huge NIL deals. So they're going to try to make money that way. And I don't know. To me, it's not a good idea, but we'll see.
So they're going to have, let me get this straight. They're going to have a GoFundMe QR code on the helmet.
Yes, on the quarterback's helmets. Yes.
So how the hell is a fan going to be able to hit that QR code?
They're going to just scan it quick. You're going to have to somehow scan it and get a good enough, I guess, on TV or something, scan it and go from there.
So maybe we should make up some QR codes and stick them on everything. Wherever you are, we'll make a roll of them. We'll stick them on everything. And then when somebody scans it, they go right to the YouTube page.
I mean, I want to piggyback on that, Tom. I first and foremost, it's ingenious. It's a great idea, to compete. This whole NIL stuff, I think it's great. The players are finally going to get paid. After 70 years of pretty much not getting paid, and getting what they're worth. I mean, like I'm all about players getting their money. You know what I mean? Now, do I think that some of the numbers are a bit ridiculous? Sure. But I mean, in reality, look, I mean, you're talking about $1 billion contracts that CBS ABC/ESPN/Disney have signed NBC with Notre Dame, Fox Sports. I mean, this is a multi-billion-dollar product. And finally, at least the kids are going to get something out of it. And really what they're trying to do is they're just trying to make super conferences and it kind of piggyback back onto what we talked about last week about having the 12 team playoffs. I mean, it's purely about making money. And finally, the kids are actually going to see some of the money. And so some of these kids that get hurt for the rest of their life actually will have something, in their bank account when they can't function like a regular athlete anymore, like they have been. So I have no problem with it whatsoever. Ingenious. I mean, is it going to get out of control? Yeah, it is. And eventually there needs to be some parameters that are slapped onto it. So,
well, go ahead.
I'm reading a little bit more on it right now, and apparently when you get the QR code, when you get to whatever site it is, you can pick what player you want to credit, as they put it in parentheses, credit with money. So I guess you can choose which player gets it.
Let me go to Keith on that, and then I'm gonna. It's a two-part of when we get to Chris. But go ahead, Keith. Thoughts on that QR code?
I think it's hysterical. I think it's just put QR codes all over the uniforms, make them like the European hockey uniforms, just QR codes on everything. Let's go. The whole stadium, just call it QR code stadium. It's ingenious, but it's ridiculous at the same time. I have a friend at LSU who's involved in raising money for NIL, and the amount of money that they're trying to raise would blow your mind. Like this is big time, right? Especially a place like LSU. But whatever, go Buckeyes, all the way to the national championship. That's it. That's all you need to know about college football this year. That's it. That's Chris, it. I'm done. That's it. I summed it all up.
So my first question is the QR code. My second question is, we asked a question last week where we talked about the college football playoffs. For or against that?
For it. I think it's a good thing. I think it's needed, because I'm sick and tired of seeing the same four teams in the top four. And there's some teams that have a good game, and you could upset one of the good teams. Although the way NIL is going, I don't know if it really matters, because you have the four pro teams: Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan. Those guys. So we'll see.
Chris, same question.
The football, the college,
for both the QR code and the playoff.
I don't know much about the college, but as far as the QR code goes, listen, we're one of the most giving countries in the world. I just went to Big Lots today, and she's like, "Oh, I bought some hand towels and whatever else the wife wanted to decorate the house with. Oh, do you want to donate? It's here." And I'm one of those. It's a quick zero for me. You go down the Octopus in downtown New Bedford, you got homeless people just about in every stage of the light. Again, there's people, I've seen people hand out I've seen people hand out $10 bills to them. You think they're not going to make money off these QR codes? Of course they are. Like, people love to give. Some people have that heart to want to give and donate and do whatever. Sure, if it works for them. It works for these people that we walk into these stores and buy something. They always ask, whatever. If you're into it, donate, help whatever cause that makes your heart feel better. Go for it, dude.
Scan that QR code and pay for Keith's meal, please.
Exactly.
We can market the crap out of this thing. I'm telling you. What I would do. So here's the thing. If you are a youth sports group, create a QR code with all the kids' names on it and have them bring it to every game, every rink, hang it in the back of the bench, make it big enough for everybody to scan. If you want to click on it, it goes to the team roster and you can, sponsor a player or donate to the player. But the problem is, in the woke world that we live in, there's going to be some kid that's made $800 and there's going to be some kid that's going to be a negative. That's going to owe the team money at the end of the season. So it is a blessing and a curse. But hey, try it with youth sports rather than passing the hat or the can to go for ice cream or new uniforms for the team, standing outside of said supermarket or Walmart. Just scan the QR code and have it all season and see what you get for donations at the end of the year, and have somebody legit keep an eye on the money and go from there. That's kind of an ingenious way to kind of turn it into more than what it actually is. So I think if you pull back the layers of the onion, it's a great idea. Just
Everyone's heartstrings get tugged in a different way.
right. That's
You know
why
what I
you
mean?
need
And if anybody wants
that's
to,
why
if anybody wants to pay for my food on the QR code, I can't use my phone, so feel free to take a donation. Thank you. First charity case.
and pulling at heartstrings. That's why Chris had to go get new hand towels. That's what I was working with.
Exactly.
Too much pulling at heartstrings.
I got two other comments about NCAA football, and then we'll jump quick. Not something we should take a long time on. How does everybody feel about the Jim Harbaugh stuff at Michigan and the Kirk Ferentz stuff at Iowa? Thomas?
I think Harbaugh knew something was going to come down, so that's why he got out of Dodge, unfortunately. But I don't think it's one of those things now. I don't think these colleges care if they can get a championship out of it, get the money from all the revenue that's going to be generated from that. They'll take a hit like this for a little bit. And I haven't really read a whole lot about the Ferentz thing. So Ed, you're going to have to refresh my memory on that.
Oh, I think that it was just some computer stuff and that type of thing. I mean, he got one game, and the whole Michigan thing. Look, they've all been doing it. I mean, I have to. They all do it in the Big Ten. It's not a surprise. You know what I mean? But where there's smoke, there's fire. And I mean, essentially, Harbaugh he got put on the hot seat 3 years in a row. Because he lost to the Ohio State many times. Before he turned the corner on it. So yeah, it's one of those things where look, you go back to the old days. If you're not cheating, you're not trying. I mean, it's been going on in sports forever. Stealing signs, all that stuff. It's been going on. There's a reason why the guys in the NFL for years. You go back to even the early '80s when they had the call sheet. They'd cover their mouth like that when they talk. Why? Because NFL teams employ people from the federal government, the ex-federal employees that know how to read lips. That's a fact.
Keith, thoughts on the Jim Harbaugh situation?
I'm gonna, I don't want to irritate any of the Michigan people watching here. So,
well, you should. That makes content, Keith.
Congrats on the championship last year, and you got your national championship. Michigan's a great spot, but go Buckeyes.
Yeah. So, Ed, let's jump deep dive into our email segment. And
right.
great. I thought pretty elaborate question this week. Go ahead.
It is. So the email is brought to you by Goongard, Goongard.com. Check them out. Great mouthpiece. Use the discount code 1973. Get you, I think, 10-15% off. Check them out. There's two in the bag. All right. So this one comes from Adam Jacob.
Wait, read it slow.
Oh, I'm going to read it slow. So this is about Super Bowl. So love to hear your predictions on who will be in the Super Bowl. Also, did you know AEW now has passed WCW Thunder in episodes? And this is from Adam Jacob, and he says, from your mom's house. Love it. Love it. Sounds like he used to hang out with us or something like that. I don't know.
All right. So first part of the question is Super Bowl predictions before the season starts. And the second is more information that we'll save until maybe next week, that AEW Dynamite has now passed WCW Thunder in episodes. So we'll kind of push that one to the side a little bit, wait for the whole group. And Chris, thoughts on your mom's house and your Super Bowl picks?
Yeah. My mom told me about that story at her house. It was a very short one, my guy. I'm going to go with, of course, my 49ers.
He'll be here until 9.
Wait, hold on. Thomas, write these down because we'll reevaluate at the end of the season.
My 49ers will be back in the Super Bowl, okay? And they are going to go up against probably one of the greatest offseason moves and acquisitions they have made in total is the Houston Texans. That team looks absolutely fire between their receivers, between the quarterback. Stroud's going to tear it up. Now they got a run game. It's going to be insane. They're going to put up a shit ton of points. And I would love to see my Niners kick some Texans ass.
All right. Edwin, what do you got?
Well, first and foremost, I'm just going to lead this off. These are my unofficial picks. Okay, these are not where. This is not my official NFL picks tonight. This is just completely off the cuff because the email came hot and off the presses, so it's off the cuff and it's going to be quick. It's going to be simple. I'm going to go with Niners versus the Bills.
Niners versus the Bills. All right, Hammer, what do you got for Super Bowl picks?
Okay, so I am really off things. I'm going to do this here. I have to go to the expert. Who's winning the Super Bowl? So you have to go to the 13-year-old to tell. He said the Ravens are winning the Super Bowl. If Lamar stays healthy with Derrick Henry, he said they can win the Super Bowl.
Who are they playing in the Super Bowl, Keith?
Let me find that one out. Who are they playing in the Super Bowl? Okay, he's crazy. He said the Lions.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
It's a high-powered offense, man. That's a high-powered offense, man. I listen.
Smart kid.
Yeah, all right. He knows it. He's the expert. So he's right. I mean, the Lions do have a high-powered offense. It's all about health, right? Teams stay healthy. It's anybody's game, but one snapped ankle and thrown out shoulder, and it's over. So it looks like I'm saying Ravens and Lions.
Thomas, you want me to pick or you want you to pick?
No, go ahead. You first.
I'm going Chiefs in the Super Bowl. And I'm gonna go first team that pops in my head that nobody's picked, the Green Bay Packers. That's my just.
Quick question though. Did you hear this from the guys at Foxwoods, or is this?
I was going to say somebody on Niagara Falls when you were on the boat. Did they give you a hot tip?
So we stayed at the casino in Toronto. Nothing to base any of this on. Just figured I would pick a different team. I figured I'd go Chiefs because they're always there and nobody picked them. And,
you went to a fudge packing store, didn't you?
And then the Packers was the first team that popped in my head that I knew that nobody else had picked.
You know what though? Don't sleep on the Packers, man. I'm telling you, Jordan Love is legit quarterback, and they're sneaky. They're just one of those teams that's going to sneak up. They're sneaky.
Thomas, we'll round out that email.
Oh, I should have picked before you because you took KC. I'm taking KC and Detroit. I think Kansas City, to me, there's only like 3 teams in the AFC that can win the Super Bowl, and I think it's probably Baltimore. I think Houston's just a young team. I don't know if they'll have maybe a year or two. I just think Mahomes right now, he has that Tom Brady aura about him right now. And KC does have a few weaknesses, like they lost one of their cornerbacks, but I think Detroit is going to have a big year. But I think the NFC is a lot better. They have a lot more depth, so it could be one. And the 49ers, it all depends on what the heck goes on with Ayuk. Is he going to sign? Are they going to trade him? That's a big loss if they do trade him. So that's my pick right now. I'll get more in depth next week when we do the football preview.
Yeah. Well, we should have. Hopefully, we'll have an eclectic group next week. Hopefully, I can get Dennis back, the Phantom, Bradford. Maybe you guys jump back on Shaggy, and we should have a big group for football season. It should be kind of good. Let you guys kind of give me a break for a little bit for 16 weeks and just kind of sit back and do the behind the scenes stuff and go from there. And let's start wrapping this podcast up this week. You guys good, or you?
Chris has got something.
If I can't make an episode, I would like my picks recorded still, please.
Okay.
Yes.
So what we'll do is on the tread, if you can't make it, just get in touch with us that way, and We can reach out however you want to. If you want to keep them in secret, just send them to the professor, courtesy of his mom's house, and we'll go from there. So shout outs. Let's start with the Hammer. He's on location. Great to have Keith back for a lot of different reasons. Happy to have him, and I want to give you the floor to have a shout out, Keith.
Yeah, no, thanks. And I'll try not to have to eat my sandwich during the pod again, but it's what happens when you're on the road. But no, just hey, shout out to all the hockey families out there that they're starting their journey. I think it's the next 8 months. I don't know where I'll be, but I'll be in a hotel probably somewhere. And so we're starting our first 4 in Pittsburgh. So shout out if you live in Pittsburgh, we're coming for you. But Ed, good luck to all the parents and the seasons out there, and football season's here. Hockey's training camp's going to be here in a few weeks, so it's a fun time of year. So best all those unsuspecting hockey parents that didn't know what they got themselves into a few years back, and now we're broke and always on the road.
Just get a new credit card. That's all you got to do.
And just wait till my kid snaps his new stick in half. It's gonna be great.
The firewood, it'll never happen.
I know.
All right, Ed.
Doesn't make as much noise when you slash either.
That's true. That's true.
Learn that one.
Edford, what do you got?
Just Keith, good to see you, man. I'd like to say shout out to Brad and Brad's family. I lost his dad. I also like to send out a heartfelt condolence to one of my former athletes and a really good friend of mine, Brad. He lost his mom the other day, so sorry to hear that. Keep you guys in thoughts and prayers.
Professor, what do you got?
Give a shout out to Mr. and Mrs. Phantom. They're currently bringing their youngest to drop off at school. I just want to know, I don't know if we'll ever find out, but we should put a wager on who's going to cry more, the Mr. or Mrs.
That this could be an issue. That's why that's why he's not on remote. You don't want to see any misty eyes. Chris, been a while. Sure you got some saved up. Let's hear it.
Yeah, so I tend to be an emotional, sensitive man. Coming on this podcast, I know I have this rugged exterior and I try to be stupid and funny and say stupid shit, one-liners, But coming on this podcast, Andy bringing me on here, meeting a bunch of guys I never met before. We've developed this relationship, this friendship. We talk almost every single day now through the thread. And it's like every time something happens to any one of you, Andy with his pets, now Brad with his dad, Keith, your dad, even, what's his name there? Brendan Higgins, my guy, his dad, it's hurtful. We feel the pain that you guys feel, obviously not as much. And just want to say a big shout out to my guy, Brad. He reached out to me a few months ago. I think he realized I was going through some shit, having a hard time with some things. He reached out to me on the side, and it's just cool to just have you guys around and, just always here for you guys. And like, clearly you guys are here for me too. Andy, you've reached out to me. Ed, you're all good people. I appreciate being on here, and it's all good shit, man. I appreciate all you guys and the love. And Brad, we love you, man. And we'll see you soon, hopefully.
So let me piggyback on that just to end the show. The mission statement for this podcast is always to come together every week, therapy session, bust balls, chirp like we're in the locker room together. Maybe an old story will come up. It's not about anything other than that first. Somebody's not available, somebody else is. It's interchangeable parts, but at the heart of hearts, it keeps everybody together. Long term, it's a carbon footprint for other people. It'll never go away. So with that being said, that's 80 episodes in the book. Still perfect attendance for this guy. Guys need to get on board and start getting some episodes in, stop being lazy and I work nights and I can't go to work on Sunday and all that other stuff. I don't want to hear it. Show up for your boys, half an hour, and let's get after it with your foosball next week. So from me to you and all the guys on the crew, we're out.